Sweden is in trouble. I keep getting tagged on this post on X that, well, has now gone international. Everyone seems to be talking about this issue that's happening here in Sweden. And being that I am here, I figured I might as well talk about it. And obviously, some people are interested in hearing my opinion on what that is. Now, before we even get into the story, I just want to give you a little bit of context. Some of the things that I know about what's going on here in Sweden that you may not know about. Hand grenades in Sweden have more than doubled in 2024. Hand grenades. Hand grenades have doubled. Who's bringing hand grenades out? Who's using hand grenades? What? There's a spread of gang violence wrecking Sweden's peaceful image. Stockholm and Malmö are no longer safe cities to be around. There are no-go zones that have been around for actually quite some time. Here is a profile of Sweden, and you can see here, number one is Sweden has a moderate human trafficking market. And if you look here, human smuggling is a prevalent issue in Sweden, especially when it comes to political discourse. And the practice has increased over the last few years. Sweden is a popular destination for refugees and asylum seekers due to favorable family reunification policies, support for integration, and a generous welfare state. However, the growth of irregular migration and the failure of integration policies have strained social cohesion and created discontent within immigrant populations, causing rising levels of violence between immigrant and host communities. All right, I'm sorry, but I have to just add, it's not just host communities, it's between themselves, and it's them preying upon the nice empathy of the Swedes that they're taking advantage of. These people are coming here and trying to convert it into what they want it to be, not adhering to what Sweden is. But the story that everyone's talking about is this one. This is Swedish Maja, 16 years old, beautiful Swedish girl, who was attacked and raped by, I can't even pronounce this man's name, Itrian Mohammed, when she was on her way home from work. He was not sentenced to deportation because the rape didn't last long enough. You heard that right. It didn't last long enough. And actually, if you look into it, it was more that he didn't use his dick. He used his fingers. So it wasn't that bad. I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. There's a Swedish site that gets a little bit more into the details. It says here the assault happened on Sunday, September 1st, 2024, when Maja missed the bus and walked through an underpass after completing her shift at McDonald's. An African man took her phone, grabbed her, followed into the tunnel, and there he subjected her to rape before she managed to break free and escape. I was completely destroyed, Maja tells Noren. Maja and her family reported directly to the police. After the rape, Maja was home from school for a few days, but on her first day back, she caught sight of the African. He stood at the pool table by the school canteen. He was there at school. She had to face him. She kept seeing him several times at work, after school. She just simply stopped going to school. Then, the then 18-year-old man was detained but acquitted in a district court due to lack of evidence. After the prosecutor appealed the verdict, the Court of Appeal makes a different assessment and sentenced him to 3 years in prison for rape. He must also pay 240,000 SEK, which is about $24,000, in damages to Maja, which is nothing. He is a citizen of Eritrea, and the prosecutor demanded that he be deported. However, the Court of Appeals notes that the 19-year-old has refugee status. In order to deport him, it is therefore required by law that the act he has committed constitutes an extremely serious crime, and it would entail a serious danger to public order and security to let him remain in Sweden. Someone who is capable of rape, someone who can take someone else's sovereignty away from them in such an egregious way, 3 years in prison, it's not going to change him. It's not going to rehabilitate him. No, this is going to embolden him. No, the conversation is about it wasn't that bad. Oh, it could have been worse. He didn't use his dick. It was just his fingers. These are literally things that the judge said. No, this kid is going to be emboldened, and it's going to embolden other people around him. The other rapists. Sweden's got a significant rape problem. It's bad. In fact, if I have a daughter, I have a son, and he's not 2 yet. But if I have a daughter, I'm going to think seriously about staying here. Listening to her speak about this is tough. But good on her for speaking up.
Nu då och då så drömmer jag fortfarande mardrömmar om det. Och jag har varit jätterädd att vara ute och gå själv. Så jag går nästan aldrig själv ute nu. Jag kommer alltid påverkas någonting av det här. Jag önskar ju verkligen nu när andra tjejer har det här. Det är också därför jag vill göra det. Att de också ska tänka att det är värt att anmäla. Även fast det kanske inte går igenom. Men det kan faktiskt vara värt. För det kan ju också hjälpa en annan tjej.
The hardest thing about that clip is seeing how she ends it with hoping to inspire other girls to report the rapes. That's how indoctrinated the Swedes are to this suicidal empathy that is riddling and corrupting the West. On top of these immigrants that do not care about the society that has been built here that they're escaping to. If you look here, this is from Vicegrad24 over on X. Migrant men of non-European origin commit 84% of assault rapes in Sweden, despite only making up less than 10% of the country's population. 84%. And they're less than 10% of the population here in Sweden. An Algerian migrant is 122 times more likely to commit aggravated rape than a Swede. And an Afghan is 69% more likely. Why is the government even allowing anyone from these places in at all, period? Then you look into who these judges are. One of them, for example, goes by the name of Lena Berggren, a university lecturer. Just give a little example of who this person is. She writes about current issues related to her research and what it's like to devote a large part of her time to public education. She researches fascism and anti-Semitism. She also works as a yoga teacher and likes to spend her free time on horseback or in a movie theater. I study fascism and anti-Semitism. In fact, this reminds me of a similar story. Also about Sweden. Let me show you. Swedish politician who fought for equality and open borders is beheaded in the Congo. Now, this happened many years ago. But this is the kind of energy that is happening and corrupting the West. It's not just Sweden. I would say it's all of Europe, especially in the UK. America is not safe from this. Suicidal empathy. Oh, he's a refugee, so we'll just give him a pass. I mean, how many times have we seen that over the past decade? Especially over Biden's presidency. Countless times. These illegal immigrants doing horrible things, killing Americans. Raping Swedes. Like, there's no, if you're a native, you are not safe. You are not protected anymore. Tommy Robinson in the UK has been standing up for the English because they're letting the illegal immigrants or the immigrants just take over and do whatever they want. This woman probably thought that she was completely safe. She probably thought the same kind of stuff that Lena Berggren thinks. Well, you know, he's just a young kid. An 18-year-old who chooses to rape somebody is an animal. and should be yeeted out of here. You should lose your refugee status. It's absolutely insane. But if you prove to the world that you're an animal, you should be treated as such. I'm sick of seeing these stories. I am sick of seeing these stories. They are ever present. They're all over the place. All across the West, we are being invaded by third world animals. I mean, I'm just going to say it. That's the energy. Okay, not all immigrants are animals. Case in point, myself. I'm certainly not an animal. I'm an immigrant. I moved here because my wife's family is all here and we wanted to raise a child here in the middle of the woods, and it's beautiful. I love it. I do miss America. Maybe I'll be back sooner than later, but that's neither here nor there at this moment. So, yeah, this person needs to be yeeted out of the country, okay? Get him out of here. If you break a law, especially that egregious, I mean, even if you break a law in general, you should be instantly losing your immigrant status. If you are an immigrant, if you are a refugee, you should be doing every single thing you can do to be a good citizen, a good, proper citizen, and upholding to the cultures and the laws of the country that's taking you in. The fact that you break the law at all should render all of your statuses null and void, and you should be yeeted back to the place from whence you came, period. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate you making it this far into the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and like that video. Sharing would also be very helpful. It definitely helps the channel grow. If you'd like this story, let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to cover more things that are happening here in Sweden or on the international scene. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.